I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I said me if it could flee. Me have to take away myself. Me have to take away myself. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize thy wings. Show the eye clear eyes. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. This is yours truly, Franco. I'm going to be linking up with Flavius in a few minutes. Yes, we know we have started late this morning, but due to problems, we are still on the road. The show must go on. We'll be right back in a few minutes.
Through the door, take away ourselves. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Say no goodbye, girl, let me take away ourselves. Yeah, take away ourselves. No goodbye, girl, let me take away
This is your very own sports, music, and lifestyle podcast with Flavius and Franco. Welcome.
Jah, all I'm asking for is a brighter day. Just send it our way, oh Jah. See ya. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day. A brighter, send it come away. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day. A brighter day. Just send it come away. Two them system design a lot of youth a suffer. No succumb to the pressure, so them no go for no stop clap it up. Now them a big time killer. And the same system melt them out like butter. Mama cry, papa ball, but it can't get better. Lifeless body lay down all over. So we have to turn we face out to the Father. And ask him for a brighter day. A brighter day. A brighter day. Just send it come away. A brighter day. We're looking for a brighter day. A brighter day. Just send it come away. Them dirty system of fraud, oh Lord. We see clear down a yard and broad. How them a treat poor people like dog, while poor people life so hard. Oh, what a pity. Why so much homeless in a them city? Lord, what a calamity. You know, sister, this a world and not pretty. So we asking for a brighter day.
Asking for a brighter day. The music of Culture Dark. Reaching out to all our listeners and viewers this morning. We have Flavius with us on the line this morning. Morning, Flavius.
Morning, Franco. Morning, listeners. Very sorry for the late start, but I can't greet you with a sunshine morning because we are all across the country. We have a depression passing below us, and I think it's going to last probably most of the day to the day. Hello.
Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little.
You hear me now?
I'm hearing you, but you were breaking up, you know.
Okay.
So you might have to repeat that what
Yeah.
you said earlier.
Okay, I'm just saying that normally I would greet you with a sunshine morning, but this morning is a rainy morning,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently rainy all across the country of Jamaica. And that is because we have a depression just below us,
Okay.
moving westward, moving towards the tip of Cuba. I think the weather report says it should pass us probably mid-afternoon. It will,
Mm-hmm.
get out of our area. But we are enjoying the rain. We need the rain. We need lots and lots of the rain. But this morning would have been a morning that people would not want to have the rain,
Mm-hmm.
in the times, because this morning is reopening of schools. But all schools are being reopened virtually, so the kids don't have to go out in the rain.
That's good. That's
But
good.
well, a lot of arguments over the weekend of about the readiness of everybody. So we'll see how that plays out. I guess by this afternoon, by the end of the week, we'll know exactly what is working, what is not working. I know a lot of work has been put in to try and get things ready, but I don't think we're anywhere close to being ready. But we have to work with what we have and see as we make it better as we go along. So this morning we're going to continue with our powerful women of the Caribbean, a women who decided that politics was a route for them in their life. Although they accomplished a lot of stuff even before politics, and then they went into politics. So we're going to speak about a few more of them today, and we're going to go through until we cover all of them. So, morning, Arthur.
Oh,
Could you do the honors, please?
today we have a young lady by the name of Alison.
Alison. Okay, Alison.
Alison.
Welcome to the stuff. Welcome to the Real Stuff podcast.
Okay, Alison, take it away.
Evelina Christina Weaver Crowes, born the 5th of December 1966, is an Aruban politician and current Prime Minister of Aruba, serving since the 17th of November 2017. She is the first female to hold this position. She is a member of the People's Electoral Movement, MEP, and has been the leader of the party since 2011. Early life and education. Evelina Christina Evelyn Weaver Crowes studied Antillean law at the University of the Netherlands Antilles from 1985 to 1986. She then moved to the Netherlands and studied tax law at Leiden University from 1986 to 1989. Career. Weaver Crowes worked for the tax inspection from 1989 to 2003, working as head since 2003. She then worked at a law firm as a tax advisor at Crowes, Weaver and Chong until 2010, concurrently working as a lawyer since 2008. Weaver Crowes was a member of the Estates of Aruba since the 29th of October, 2009, having been elected in the 2009 elections, where she held the third position on the party list. She served as parliamentary group leader since 2013. She resigned from the Estates to become Prime Minister. In the 2017 general election, Weaver Crowes MEP obtained 9 seats. She subsequently managed to form a coalition government under her leadership with the Pueblo Orgulloso y Respeta, POR, and Network of Electoral Democracy, RED, the first Aruban coalition government in 16 years, and the first Aruban government headed by a woman. Weaver Crowes' cabinet was sworn in by Governor Alfonso Bocaut on the 17th of November 2017. Paula Ann Cox, CBE, born 1964, is a Bermudian politician and former Premier of Bermuda. She has been the leader of the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party, PLP, since the 28th of October 2010. In accordance with the Bermuda Constitution Order 1968, she was appointed Premier of Bermuda on Friday, the 29th of October 2010, by Governor Sir Richard Gosney. She was succeeded as Premier by Craig Cannonier on the 18th of December 2012, when she led her party into election defeat, losing her seat in the process. Early years. Paula Cox, the only daughter born to Bermudians Eugene and Alinda F. Cox, spent her early years living in Sandys Parish. She attended the Berkeley Institute and Havergal College. She later earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from McGill University in Canada, and a postgraduate diploma in international law from the University of Manchester. She trained as a solicitor at the College of Law, Chancery Lane, London, and was called to the Bermuda Bar in January 1992. She received an honorary doctorate in education at the May 2004 commencement exercise of Wheelock College, USA, and more recently, in 2009, was made an honorary alumnus of Dalhousie University. Political life. Cox was first elected to Parliament in October 1996, when she won the Devonshire North by-election, constituency 14. A seat formerly held by the then opposition leader, Mr. L. Frederick Wade, JP, MP. Then in her mid-30s, Mrs. Cox became one of the youngest members of the House of Assembly. Following the general election in November 1998, Cox was appointed the first PLP Minister of Labour, Home Affairs and Public Safety. Her management of that portfolio gained her added recognition when she was judged the most effective politician in the Best of Bermuda Gold Awards for 2001 by the Bermudian, a prestigious and long-standing magazine in Bermuda. This achievement was then repeated in 2003. On the 1st of November 2001, Cox was given a new assignment and appointed the Minister of Education and Development, and was later that year named in the Bermudians' Best of Bermuda Gold annual listing as the most effective politician for 2001. Following the July 2003 general election, Cox retained her education portfolio, but was additionally appointed Attorney General following the retirement of the iconic former leader of the BPLP, former Member of Parliament and former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dame Lois Brown Evans. Cox served in this dual portfolio until January 2004. In 2003, she was again cited in the Bermudians' Best of Gold's annual listing as the most effective politician. Cox assumed the finance portfolio exclusively in January 2004, succeeding her late father, the Honourable C. Eugene Cox, CBE, JP, MP. She and her father were unique in Bermuda and party politics in both being ministers in the first PLP administration and the only serving father-daughter duo in Parliament. IPOC International Growth Fund Affair. On a tip by Mikhail Friedman's Alpha Group, she investigated the financial activities of Leonard Ryman, his attorney Jeffrey Garmond, and their firms including the $1 billion Bermuda-based IPOC International Growth Fund, which was competing against Alpha Group for the former share held by Leonid Rozhetskin's LV Finance in the Russian telecom giant Megaphone. In March 2004, she hired 2 inspectors from the Financial Advisory Services Division of KPMG to independently investigate the IPOC International Growth Fund for irregularities and report the findings to the Bermuda Monetary Authority's BMA. To influence the outcome of KPMG's findings, Alpha Group's telecom subsidiary Altimo hired the Haley Barber-founded BGR public relations firm, which then hired a security firm co-founded by Richard Burt Due Diligence. In addition to being a board member of Alpha, Richard Burt has a close working relationship with Mikhail Friedman. From spring to October 2005, Due Diligence performed its Project Yucca, which infiltrated KPMG's investigation to gain information about the investigation into the IPOC International Growth Fund by impersonating British Secret Services agents. Cox was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire, CBE, in the 2014 Birthday Honours for Public Service in Bermuda. Corporate life. Paula Cox is a corporate lawyer, having served as a lawyer for ACE Limited as their corporate counsel and previously as Vice President and Senior Legal Counsel of Global Fund Services at the Bank of Bermuda Limited. Personal life. Cox is married to businessman Jermaine Culiu, with whom she has a son, Stefan. She has 2 brothers, Jeremy Cox, Chief Executive Office Executive of the Bermuda Monetary Authority, and Robert Cox, an electrical engineer presently working in the United States. Paula Cox is an avid reader of international biographies and collector of African antiquities. I am Alison Goodness, with today's Did You Know?
Did you know, brought to you courtesy of Slowly Jamaica, uniquely Caribbean. So in case you didn't know, now you know.
Hi, this is Pam Hall, and I'm inviting you to hang out with Flavius and Franco on the Real Stuff Podcast. They're such great company.
Yes, Flavius, we're back.
Yeah, man, I'm here.
We're back again with new pack.
New pack is back, yeah.
So that was, did you know, with one of the talented, industrious, what you call it, professional woman. So we have, I think we have like about 2 more to go, you know. I think we have like about 2 more to go.
That's all? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I think we have
to get working.
Yeah, I think we have 2 more to go.
I'll probably get showing to the women who have done a lot, but not in politics.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I think we have a couple more to rinse off from it.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So today is really current. Or it's a really current news in Jamaica, Caribbean, and around the world. A wire, and then we go link up.
Oh yes.
With Teddy. All right then.
This is your very own sports, music, and lifestyle podcast with Flavius and Franco. Welcome.
Oh mama, oh mama, oh mama, keep on loving me so well. I met a boy the other day, got the sweetest loving ever come my way. Do anything I say when he loves me this way. The only thing I say is, oh mama, keep on loving me so bad boy.
Yes, we're back. We're back. So, in case you're just joining us, welcome to the Real Stuff Podcast. And this morning we have with us none other than Mr. Teddy Laidley. Morning, Teddy. Morning again.
Well, I should say top of the morning to you and the listeners. And we are having our wet Monday here in Jamaica. It's not over. It's raining.
Rainy morning in Jamaica.
It's a rainy morning here. We need it because, as usual, one of the sore points over the years that we need to address is this water situation, potable water, and it's all being ignored by both administration over the years. You know, one of the things that I can't understand is there are several companies here in Jamaica who bottled water for drinking, and yet one of the largest distributor of water is the National Water in NWC, and they are not in the business. So at least bottle water into water station across the country. That's always my concern. And we are surrounded by the Caribbean Sea, and we are looking to desalination, and yet desalination is in some of our sister islands because, again, we don't have a serious water problem. What we have is a distribution because on the western part of Jamaica, we have sufficient water that can be taken care of. As far as I know, one of our tourist attraction is the Duns River Fall, and it never empty. Because one is no longer an attraction.
True.
Port, again, is one of those parishes that rainfall almost every minute, every hour on the day because of the forestation there. And you wonder, the government recently did a magnificent job along with the China Harbor in terms of road construction here in Kingston, Jamaica. Some of our major thoroughfare, the Constant Spring Road, the Agley Park Road, the 3 Miles, and the Marcus Garvey Drive. And then, after that completed, one of the sad thing about it, the road becomes flooded because whoever were dealing with the road did not keep that drainage. So they put medians in the center of the road. So it able to curtail and make a more traffic efficient, I will call traffic management. But the column that they put, the median they put in the road, allow for flooding. And now after that, the government is now going to announce how many millions of dollars will be spent in putting in place.
Again.
And the question, why when you are fixing the road, you think about that, and now you're going to have meeting with consultants to talk about putting in drainage. And when you look at the road in Jamaica, and I'm talking right across, we lose a lot of our surface water to the sea. When all this water could be captured and channeled to our dams. Just as how we have water pipes from the national dam into our homes, why can't we have storm water or rainwater harvesting that now leave from our homes and channel back to the dam? The water that run off our roof could easily be channeled into a piping system that goes right back to the dam. Just as though you have pumping station along the way to pump water into the various different homes, we could easily well tell person and make it become part of the building regulation that water harvesting, rainwater harvesting, supposed to be a key factor in the development of homes. And so therefore, all the water that runs off your roof before it touches the ground to be contaminated, then it goes into a piping system and go back to the dam. So you have pipe. One carry potable water, which is chlorinated water, subject to drinking, and then the next pipe will be carrying water to be treated for drinking. And I'm saying, why have nobody sit down and just think about these things? You have thousands of houses across Jamaica along with business places. And every time the rain falls, because even where I am in my office right now, I can tell you, I am seeing water running off the various businesses and channel out on the street right now. The roads are like rivers and nothing. All these years is the same thing. You know? It's frightening. It's just frightening.
Yeah, man, that's true, man. Enough wastewater that we can utilize it and do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, and
we don't plan.
Yeah, that's true. The proper plan. No, but you know, Teddy, I saw the road last year. I saw the road development last year up in Constant Spring when I was there. And as you mentioned about the flooding, like what, a couple weeks or a month ago, the big rain that came and flooded the whole of that area. And when somebody sent me the pictures, them and said, this is Constant Spring Road where them just fixed. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I don't know if it's the picture that they show you on Marcus Garage Drive. That looked like a swimming.
Yeah, I saw that too. That looked like the sea where I look upon. You understand me? The way it looked at Marcus. I thought it was the sea.
The Marcus Garage Drive is almost parallel to the harbor.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything for you to channel the water from the road into the harbor. Yes. Yeah, you understand?
Which brings to mind when that stretch of road that they did outside Ferry usually have that canal, that lake usually come up when it rains. Did that came up also? Did that side of the road? Because I think that elevated the road from that.
Well, here the thing about it is Seven River that always flows by 6 miles here. Well, the good thing about it is that they have lifted the road.
Yeah, I know they elevate the road some more. Yeah.
Right. And they've channeled the water on them.
Okay.
And so, but what you need to do is set up a drainage system that is into the harbor. You know, the funny thing about it, I keep on saying on this program, something that look at with just common sense, logic. It don't need the technocrat or anybody to see. Water do not run uphill unless it's pipe. Water run downhill. It don't, we call gravity feed. It don't take enough water to run downhill. Right? And when you look how the roads are built, it built again to be destroyed by water because the water cycle. We should have built in our roads. We have gutters to the side, so at least the water runs off and goes into the gutter and then goes into the. Simple as that. Very simple. Just look, for example, they just did an expansion of the airport road, right? And every time rain falls, it's the same thing. The road again flooded. And nobody let us lift the road, bring up the road to at least, a foot or two. Because when the waves from the harbor, especially when you have a time of heavy rain and storm surge, it comes boulders or come over the boulders and flood the road. It's just simple. Lift the road. That takes us inside Jamaica through air travel. You're coming into the country, especially the Norman Manley Airport. You're coming in. So you don't need anything to impede. Secondly, they expand the airport road with the road development. And you still have lane traffic. Or I should say one lane, go and come. And road is so wide, it's part of the peninsula. No, you check it out. It's a peninsula. You make it wide. In the event you had flooding on one side, you can use the next side for vehicular traffic.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? The road is wide enough. Make it into a lane.
Do these guys who do what you call it, the plan? Do they really look at those the surveyors? Do they really outline these to the contractors who go and do the work and say, well, this is how we should do the road? Because I'm sure we have competent people.
Here, one of the things that I've been saying over the years, that we bring home the gift, and we bring home the package and left the gift. The package look nice, and so we're not concentrating on the gift. And this is what happens. Yes, you have the people from China to come in and they help us through the finance of developing our roads. Yeah. But what I'm saying to you, they do not understand the tapestry of Jamaican landscape and how it's built. Recently, they built the expansion of Constant Spring Road, and nobody is long after they realize there's no pedestrian cross.
Okay.
So they have to lick out a section of the median to put in pedestrian crossing. Come on, common sense.
And we don't have local contractors who work with them. When these contracts are given to the Chinese, local contractors don't work with them that much?
I don't think so, because if they work with them, those make a mistake. No, when you look about it, there are business parallel on both sides of the road.
Yes.
And to go into a business, right? I have to go all the way up to the stoplight and make a U-turn. My thing is, put certain exit. It's just like, for example, the highway. An incident happened about 4 years ago, right? I went to Jamaica Jazz, and coming in, we developed a fountain. Someone did not have a spare, we couldn't change the tire. A highway patroller. Well, and my argument is, couldn't you put gate at certain interval?
Yeah.
Along the highway. So in the event, check this out. We cut through the mountains. Cut through the mountains to create highway. So therefore, the potential of falling rock is inevitable. It will happen.
Yeah.
Or slide. No, you're telling me that you could not think to say, in the event, we can then turn back vehicle or make it be easy accessible that vehicle can cut across and go back.
Yeah.
So if there's a pocket of the road, we can utilize the exit entrance so we can move traffic. So if a bowler come down on the westbound going, and that side of the road is blocked, we could have opened the entrance exit and then let vehicle continue on the north, the southbound side.
That highway road construction like that should have at least a quarter to a half a mile, what you call it, road cut that you can cut across to the highway. Cause
There you
yeah,
go.
just a quarter
And,
to half a mile. That's how they usually do it here.
yeah, and this now is being controlled by the persons who patrol the highway.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
no, then have a key or whatever, and knowing that okay, fine, because it all it have to do is it's simple. A metal sliding gate,
Mm-hmm.
metal or steel sliding gate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, instead of you opening it out into the road to block or anything, you come and you slide it to the side, left or right.
Mm-hmm.
Double one. You understand? So therefore, persons don't have the thought in their head that they could have knocked off the lock.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have it slide on both sides.
Yeah.
So if you knock off the left, you can knock off the right.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. So you just slide. It's simple. Just make it the same level of the median and slide it
Mm-hmm.
and lock it. Simple as that. So it's made out of steel. And so it's wide enough that a truck can go through. Simple, simple, simple things.
They
But
never make the preparation for that in them plan, man.
no, but you're talking about the development. So therefore, you have to look at in the event something happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have in a road and you don't know how best you can deal with. It's for example, years ago they did a thing across the corporate area where they put median and block up entrance.
Mm-hmm.
There was one median they placed on Mullines Road by Toronto Avenue. Here what they do, they put the median because people used to just come down there and turn. And you know what happened?
Mm-hmm.
They did not see holes within the median. So all the water that run down from the public is
Yes.
flood on one side.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They did something in New Kingston where they block off you going home by Harden Road.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that you are blocking me from going into my own community, going home. I have to drive around until finally someone who instituted inside the road safety or whatever realize that they made some big blunders.
Mm-hmm.
No, to move it. So too often people come up with these grand ideas, and the participation of people who are involved is not part of the decision. And this segue into what is happening on the landscape politically, and it's still happening, where there is now the question, one of the questions that being asked, why the opposition, the People's National Party, lose, is because it was not inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
You need to bring everybody on board. You cannot, it's the same thing that I keep on saying ever so often. You are making decision on my behalf and don't ask me. So how is it that you're going to make a decision on my behalf and I am not part of the decision making?
Mm-hmm.
How does it affect?
Yeah.
But yet you're saying you're doing something good for me. And what you're doing good for me is not helping. And this is one of the problems we're constantly having in the country. You go ahead and make policies and changes. It's just like, for example, today, the school officially opened,
Mm-hmm.
right? And over the weekend and the week ahead and the week before, previously, there's a lot of a problem coming in. And so, oh yes, we want to do online and online schooling, is the way to go. But Jamaica terrain, because of how it is structured, you're giving out all of these tablets, but there's no electricity and there's no internet. What good is a tablet?
Teddy, before you go there, let me just say something about the road before we leave that topic. I know that there are software programs, computer programs, that can do simulation. And what should be done, and you can simulate the traffic, and you can put whatever traffic on it and see it work. You can run water in the drains and see how that works. All of this can be done before you put the first stone. All of this should be known before you start any form of building. And these programs are out there from the big, it's nothing new. It's just for us to get the technology if we don't have it. And I don't see anybody who go to university to study engineering or whatever would not come across those type of software that you can use. So you know that in the morning you can have the 7 o'clock rush down Constant Spring Road. So you put that traffic on it and see how the simulation pans out. And you know what to tweak, what to change, and whatever. But we don't seem to do this. And the next thing that I know for a fact is that the persons who design this stuff are not the persons who build it. And in most cases, they don't talk to each other.
Exactly.
Man, come on. Them say must do this. Do this. Okay, me gonna do it this way. Them don't have the whatever to say. Okay. It's like you get a prescription for your doctor and you carry it to your pharmacist. And your pharmacist will look at it and say, "Oh, your age is that. This is not for you." And pick up the phone and call the doctor and say, "Doctor, the prescription is correct."
You know the fun thing about
with all this concept.
Because
nobody else.
You touch a valid point, because ever so often the situation that presents itself, as you rightly said, the person who designed it is not the person who is on the ground carrying out that design. And sometimes there's impeding things that the designer, because he wasn't on the ground, he did not see. It's just like, for example, I remember working in when I was in television. If we are going to do a program outdoor, the first thing that we do is what they call a recce. We go and walk through just in order to find out, also make contact with the airport to find out what time flights are coming in. Because the worst thing you can do is, when you're doing an outdoor, is a plane pass every hour on the hour or every 2 hours. These are some of the things that you find out. You understand? So it's not about just going out there and the shoot and the lighting is right and all of that. You have to look at the surroundings, because it can be a situation that train can be passing at a specific time, so you don't do the shoot at that time. It can be a gentleman who does something at a particular time. It can also be near a company where the car should blow for lunch at a certain time. And then you are going into person's environment. So you can dictate, what they are to do because you want to film something. And so it's the same thing.
It's required in everything you do, because like when I used to play football, when I go to play a match, no matter if I played on the field 100 times, my first job is I go on the field and I walk the field. I walk the entire field before the referee is ready, to make sure I know exactly how the field stay, what holes it have, what slippery spots, whatever. I have to know these things. But we don't seem to, it's all come back down to the planning, We don't plan. And if you're designing something, as a designer myself, I know that you have to check every possibility. You have to go through. And if you have these programs that can help you, you put in the stuff and you say, okay, 100 cars in 2 minutes, whatever, make it run. Give me an assessment. Water, I mean, that could never happen with the flyover at it down by 3 miles, because they will know immediately that if they put that median there, then they have problems, because if the program would show them and they could say, okay, no, that is wrong. Can't do it that way. But we don't seem to take these steps, and the preliminary steps are the most important ones, because after you reach a certain point, you can't change again.
Just as I mentioned, the whole thing of flyover and all of that. So one of my problems is that here it is, you build all of this concrete structure and you're cementing. And wouldn't it be easier if you put in blocks on the ground where water can then soak away and help with our underground water? So you're coming with this fantastic idea, cement. And then with you cementing it, it makes it more difficult for water to soak away and go on underground water. And it makes it easier to create flood because of the cement. Somehow, this reminds me, years ago, we had the visit of Prince Charles coming to Jamaica looking at environmental and sustainable development. And he was visiting a school, and somebody hastily asphalt the grounds of the school.
Uh-oh.
And it's compared to what the visit was. The visit was looking at the environment. And unfortunately, when they come, they ask, why was the place asphalted? Nobody owned up to it in terms of accountability to say, who gave the order to asphalt it? You are coming to look at the environmental and sustainability and all that. And so therefore, the asphalt not even supposed to be. And so somebody give the order, oh, the prince is coming, so let us tidy up the place and asphalt the place. And that was contrary to what he's coming there to look at. I will constantly do these things in Jamaica. We just asphalt the place, we just concrete the place, and not realizing that, when we leave the soil as it is, it helps with underground water. The water is able to seep away into the soil to help contribute to our underground water. So therefore, we are able to bring this underground water to the surface. And we always ask the question, why is it that we're having a water shortage underground? It's because we constantly, every bill would show up concrete. Nobody's thinking to say, well, let us.
We just spend the money on preparing. So we have to overspend and overcorrect. Every minute you have to go back and correct something because that's not right. And, spend the time, extra time, and make sure the design is perfect.
Somehow,
that is what is required.
Yeah. On
Design is the key, no?
I just moving away.
Back to school now because it's a topic.
I just want to move away and just sort of look at what happened in Barbados again, where the Governor General announced the marriage will be implemented in Barbados. And that's, again, more Motley was saying that she wanted it to go to a referendum if a decision like that was to be made. But somehow the Governor General made the announcement. So the question is, was it a situation that the Prime Minister wasn't aware of the announcement by the Governor General Ding Sandra Mason announced in Parliament of that the country recently that the Eastern Caribbean country would be introducing same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The came as a surprise to Prime Minister Maya Motley. I did not initially told Barbadians that the matter of the same-sex marriage would have been put to a referendum. That obviously was no longer the case.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we are looking at whether people are saying these are international pressures or what, but let us see how we go across and let us see how it's going to reflect within the Caribbean and how Caribbean people feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
Here, back here in Jamaica, one of the things that we were, a commentator made a point, like in Australia, voting is mandatory with a fine. So it's either you pay the fine or you vote. With the recent election on September 3rd, with the 37% turnout, which is the lowest, because in 2016 election, it was 48%, and in 2011, it was 52%. So the question now, in order for we to have some changes and to make sure that we have proper representation, whether to make voting become mandatory as in Australia with a fine. And so people would take a different approach to voting.
But when you look at it, the 37% look bad, but that is not even so bad. The government of the day is ruling the country, and 28% of the Jamaican people. That's the percentage that they got to win the election. They got 28% and the PNP about 8%. That is really, really awful.
But you see, my bone of contention is that a member of parliament is a legislator who's supposed to be there to focus on the aspect of legislation to make the country a better place. Now, the unfortunate thing about it is that many persons have seen a politician, and maybe the way it started out years ago, just to hand out, attend funeral, give money, and all of that. We need, I think this is the opportune time for the present government need to educate the populace of the role of the member of parliament within the society. And also, my bone of contention, we can't rush to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry to be slated as a member of parliament. My thing is, because it focuses so many on legislation and law and all of that, we need people who understand the dynamics of the Constitution. So therefore, as part of the role of the member of parliament, you must have some understanding of the Constitution, how it functions. Because when you, as a newbie, goes into the Senate and to a bill supposed to be passed, you can't stumble it because you're going to stumble over it because you don't know the intricacies of the thing. So my thing is, even if you're a businessman and you put up yourself to be a member of parliament, you must have an understanding of the constitution, how the Senate or the parliament work, how an amendment takes place, the role of the governor general, what the governor general can do, what he can't do, before you become a member of parliament. The days have gone by when somebody, yes, he have done well in the community, and yes, he's popular. We cannot continue that way because too many things, too many laws can't be passed because too many deliberations taking place in the upper and the lower house. People don't understand the intricacies of the law. And we're not going to say that it must be all lawyers. But what we're saying, come to the table with a level of understanding because just like you're going for a job, if you walk in that you want to work for a company, one of the advantages, you must know what the company does. You must have some information on the company and how you fit within that company to make that company a better company. So all of that is being determined at the interview. So my thing is, if you're going to run as a member of parliament, you must understand something about the country. You can't just say you get up and because you're popular in a community. And so when you go into the parliament as a backbencher, you make no contribution. So you stay there for the 4 terms and nothing. You cannot table anything to the parliament because you don't know. So all you do, you get up here, the constituency suffer because you don't go in the constituency regular, you concentrate on your job, you get your salary as a member of parliament. So if the next 4 years come and you don't go back, so be it.
So Teddy,
we can't continue on that path in the country anymore.
Teddy, let me ask you a question. So what about a member of parliament, a member of parliament coming out of that constituency instead of going to another constituency to represent the member of parliament live in that constituency?
Look, that idea, Franco, that idea been toy around with, right? There are advantages and disadvantages. One person years ago was Fitz Jackson. Flavius know him because Flavius and he used to share the same community, right? In his community. So therefore, whatever, if there's no water, it affects him. If there's no light or a power outage, it affects him.
True.
The road going home, it affects him. Now, Flavius can tell her he no longer live in that constituency.
Move out.
You understand? So here's the thing about it. When he wakes up in the morning, 50 members of his constituency is at his gate.
Yeah.
You understand?
No, but to be fair to him, Teddy, he did stay there for a few terms.
Yes,
you know, he was there for 2 terms. You know, and he did it at that time.
Him couldn't take,
I don't know about now.
Him couldn't take the harassment.
Yeah, because it go back to this point that I just made, Franco.
No, I don't.
People, the point I just made, Franco, is that people understand the role of a member of parliament. The role for the years have become a political handout, a dependency, not an independency. The MP must give me work. The MP must take care if me have a death in the family. The MP must give me money for a doctor. Those are some of the things that is highlighted over the years. Member of Parliament is not seen as a legislator to help change and make policies for the development of the country and the development of my life. They don't see it this way. As far as they're concerned, me that back him in the election, me support him, so I must get payback. That's the reason why nepotism and cronyism will not become the forefront of any legislation in this country where both sides of the aisle say that we are going to put an end to it. It's not going to happen. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's not going to happen. So, when we look at the whole issue of persons coming from the constituent as a member of parliament, how I look at it, this is how I look at it. You don't have to go like that. I think that if the position of a member of parliament supposed to be a progressive decision, meaning you must be involved in the social groups, meaning if you're coming from like the social club, like the Kiwanis, the Rotary, and the Lions, then you're also involved as a councillor, and then you're involved as an MP.
Okay.
Because here's my thing is, if you cannot manage from a micro, how you're going to manage on a macro? That's the point. If you're not there, able to manage, it's just like, for example, I keep on telling people, when God made man, a lot of the church will come, oh, God made man to serve us. God made man to manage the earth. That is our role, to manage what is here. And we are not doing a good job of it. So my thing is, if you're going to be a member of parliament and you have never get involved in none of the social group, none of the citizen association, you never work as a councillor, how is it that you take on the mantle of a member of parliament? That's just my opinion.
That's true. I see.
Cannot manage this part. You to manage a $20 million budget or more or the constituency development fund. So therefore, what will feed in, and I'm not going to say it will happen, but there's room for corruption and nepotism and cronyism.
Oh yes, always.
You can't manage $10. How the hell you going to manage $20 million? That's my bone of contention.
Yeah.
So this person went come up and about parliament and he can't manage him house. We Lord, give us a bigger house, a perfect, and the small house with the one bathroom that you have. You don't clean it every time you shower or on weekend, but you want a house with 5 bathrooms, 6 bedrooms. and you don't keep the one bathroom.
Problem, only problems.
I have a big question. Teddy. Now, I thought with all the results, put it that way, the results of the PNP, not necessarily losing the election, but what has happened over the years of leadership challenges and whatever, from Portia and Peter time until Peter and Peter until now. I thought they would have learned.
No, don't forget that. Hold on. Don't forget about Portia and Patterson. Please, don't make it look like that.
To that, at least one side I've heard that has resorted to that. No. So is that we can learn, or is building to us, or what?
Because Flavius, one thing you forgot. No, Flavius, you forgot one thing. The education does not change behavioral attitude. It's, you know what I mean? Check it out. one of the biggest discriminatory in healthcare is by the trained profession. People complain. Right now, the corporate
Mm-hmm.
people are complaining how the nurses respond to you. Come on. Doctors, when it was the HIV and the AIDS, the discrimination coming from the professional. So
Mm-hmm.
although you are educated in the sense that you are learn knowledge, because that's what education is. Some people attitude and behavior is still the same. It's not
But
because
I
a
think
man
you'd
have
have
a
learned, you'd have
no,
learned
no, no,
from
but
the
not
devastating effect that this practice have
because
on the party.
no, but not because a man have a PhD flavors doesn't mean that he doesn't subscribe to crash behavior.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
it's not about PhD and all that. I'm just saying
our learn
ordinary understanding is that this thing don't
hold,
work.
hold on
And
flavors.
it's
Our
not,
learn are no longer with us. Said it. A butu in bed is still a butu. Come on.
yeah, we know that. We know that.
So so
But
so not because
it is
you
sad.
you
It is
have
sad.
you have a doctorate and you amass knowledge. You still your behavior is still I'm not changed. That's the point. So you're saying that they should
Teddy,
have learned. Yeah.
yeah, Teddy, my marketing training tells me that you should never market your product by putting down the other product. You need to blow all the bells and whistles of your product and leave the other product alone. But
But
apparently these people
flavors
didn't go to the city. So,
no, when you see the difference is that that chapter of the book was thrown out
look
because
so.
it,
Look,
it's simple flavor. It's a dog eat dog world. It's mine. It's not us. Because if it was a situation, it was a us situation, then you'd have name calling. Then we could have
that's it.
worked collectively to achieve one
Of
common
course.
objective.
Yes.
Huh? Right. So we are not working
That is the way
collectively
to go.
to achieve one objective. We are working individually to achieve my objective. That's the point. That's the point.
And not, and not the
So
objective of the party or of the country.
no, because it
We
have
have we
demonstrated
have interest.
it have
We have a serious
demonstrated in the
problem.
past. No, but it have demonstrated in the past flavors where it is established it is party above country. We have seen it happen. We have
Yeah, but
seen
it is
the
worse.
behavior
But it
of
is
both
worse
sides. I'm
now.
not talking about one side, I'm talking both
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, it is worse now, Teddy, because it is me above party, party above country. That is the problem, you
Okay,
know. So it's me above party. So no matter if I'm the best choice, me want it.
there you
Me
go.
want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like I tell somebody years ago, I have moved into an instant society because years ago, just let us look at it. When we were growing up, we had we had the tube TV that when you turn it on half an hour after it come on, we had
Yeah.
the, we had it. We if we want a cup of tea, we are putting on the pot, and before we put on the pot, we have to go find the wood fire or the cold stove to put it on. No, all of that has
Yes.
changed now, and we now have instant coffee. We don't have to
Instant.
beat the heat no
Instant.
more. We put on TV instantly with it.
Everybody's
And
instant.
so this come over into people. So years ago, when we talk about persistence and perseverance and working hard to achieve, we now see a whole new generation say they ain't waiting. Like my mother and my grandmother, 30 years to achieve whatever. The same kind of attitude went over. They were noted politicians who put country above self. And when they died a pauper. But they were
Yes.
satisfied in the lifetime that they had made a valid contribution to the development of this country. A new set of politicians say, oh, me not dead no pauper. And so that's one of the reasons why the the body that set up within the parliament that look about on your assets, meaning you look at what you came in with, and we look at your progress within it to see anything that changed. And many of the politicians was found in breach of that integrity to disclose their assets. Many of them were in breach. And this is not a make-up story. Many of them did not file. Many of them is outside of the thing. Look at recently, look how long it takes the Prime Minister to announce and to make a declaration. Those are reality. We're not making up, and we're not using it as a political pawn right now this morning. We are saying that there were politicians who put country above self. And there's another set of politicians now who are not waiting on that. They want to make sure that when they leave that arena, they are financially well off for them and their family. That's the reason why I've said cronyism and nepotism will not go through the door. Are you there?
Yeah, man.
No, we're here just listening keenly. Listen keenly, man.
I'm agreeing with you completely. Yes, I am.
I listen to you keenly, Teddy, because I know for viewers and listeners are the same thing. Them I feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
it's not going to change. It's not going to change. So we knew there is the establishment you can go. This is not a story I'm making out trying to beat down. There were noted politicians who died years ago and died pauper. And those men serve the country. Those men serve the country.
Well, yes.
Yeah, one.
And when you look at recently, the politician is saying that they want more salary.
Mm-hmm.
You want more salary, and the other professionals are hanging and begging for an increase. And you're saying the money you're getting is not enough for the job that you're doing. That's the reason why I have said what I've said before. If you are going to serve as a member of parliament, you must understand some of the intricacies of the country. You must understand service. So if you're not coming, one of the person I can tell you I admire in this present parliament, right, is Ed Bartlett. And why? Ed Bartlett, I am not asking. Ed Bartlett was a member of the JC. He came to the service club. He came to the service club over the years. I knew of that because I was involved in the JCs myself.
Okay.
And one of the things about it helps you how to work with people collectively, how to meet deadlines, how to execute projects. Those are some of the things that the service club helps you with. So when you are of the Rotarians, the Lions, the JCs, and all of these clubs, it helps build and make you into a better person. So you know what service is. So when you go and serve at a higher level, you give up your best. Sure. And that's all I'm saying. You cannot be a member of parliament and never serve your community and never part of no service club. How the hell? Like I said, if you can't manage $10,000, how are you going to handle $20 million?
True thing, a good thing that, boss.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. How do you understand the Constitution? So when I sit down in Parliament, in the Senate, I can argue amicably or argue on a basis of knowledge to why the bill is important. I'm not supposed to be a copycat because the party says so. I must pass the bill. What do I understand about the bill? It's going to be a rubber stamp senator or a rubber stamp member of parliament. So I have no voice because I'm a backbencher. And then I have to agree with the cabinet minister because I need water for my constituency or I need light. So a resolution has been passed in the House and I vote against it, I'm not going to get any light or water. Come on.
Them call it up here, so like pork barrel. you have to be a pork barrel bill.
So if I don't agree with a cabinet minister who has certain responsibility for certain amenities, which is the right for the person, I can't get it. I must agree with him because I don't understand the amendment. I don't understand how a bill is taken into law.
How many of these MP work across the aisle? Do they work across the aisle? They don't?
None. I have never seen one.
I heard that Tom and Harry from, different part of the parties decide to put a bill that will help people, help our community.
This is what I'm saying. If you propose something and it is not in favor of the quote unquote, it's not going to be passed. So that's the reason why we talk about nepotism and cronyism. It doesn't have to be handed out of certain contracts. Nepotism and cronyism. That if I propose something and you don't like it, or in order for it to pass, you have to agree with me to vote for me when certain resolutions come about. That is cronyism. Come on.
And the nepotism is those who are bringing them family night now. Everybody family are coming out now.
Franco, what we are saying, as a backbencher, as something that I would like to make a contribution that will go not only for the development of my constituency, but for the country as a whole.
Yeah. And
I'm proposing something. Now, in order for it to get through, there got to be a vote on it. Right? And what end up happening? If certain persons do not agree on it, it's not going to pass.
So it's a partisan bill a pass, then in a parliament, no bipartisan bill a pass.
Oh yeah. Mostly.
Hold on, recently Ed Bartlett, who is the government spokesman on business, right? The Prime Minister recently said that he's going to take the chairmanship from the opposition member for certain committees because of the high absenteeism of meetings, right? Now, what does that do for the party? It don't show transparency and accountability because if you take away the chairmanship of the opposition, who's supposed to be the vanguard and the watchguard for the government, and be a government in waiting, that means you can't do anything. That's the point. I am not advocating on behalf of the PMP or a dictator.
True.
We're one man and a party sort of. We're talking about a democracy progress, a democracy lifestyle. So therefore, I supposed to be watching you to make sure that you do what you ought to do on the behalf of the country, the people who vote you there. That's my role as the opposition. That's the bottom line. So why would you want to take away that role and give it to one of your colleagues? Because you're saying that I was high in absenteeism and this and that committee have not met. What you need to fix it.
Do they find these members of parliament who don't show up regularly?
Franco, is that you now find that as an issue. My argument is don't abandon it. Don't try to manipulate it. Fix it. Put in place certain guidelines and stringent guidelines to say, if this don't happen, here's the consequences. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
If this don't happen, these are the consequences. So step up to the plate. You can't go say, we're going to take it away from you. No, we're giving you a chance. We're going to say that you're going to chair this committee, but these are the new guidelines that we put, and we both agree. So therefore, if you fall short of it, or if you don't comply with it, then naturally the chairmanship will be taken away. Sure. That's all I'm saying. Fix it. You see, one of the problems that I have here in Jamaica is that once something is not beneficial, whether it's financially, socially, or otherwise, we release it. When it's beneficial, we put in regulatory system in place. That's it. And I use the many examples. Years ago in this country, we used to have the illicit gaming. We call it Japan, pick-up-all, and lottery on the streets. And the police used to arrest people constantly to be selling these game of chance. Right? It was something that was happening rampant across the country. What happened? We regulate it now and call it betting and lottery. Betting and gaming lottery corporation. And now we are now in South Africa. Created an intellectual property that we can sell internationally. So the betting and gaming is now in South Africa because we now sell that intellectual franchise here, right here in Jamaica, and we now can play the game and it's been shown. We now also have the same thing within the Caribbean. We have the same thing where we call Super Lotto that is drawn here in Jamaica, and it plays right across the region in several Caribbean countries, and you get the equivalent of that country dollar. So if you win, you get it in Jamaican. If you win it in Barbados, you get it in Barbados. So the point in here, once the same thing was happening to years ago, persons used to go to the wharf, go to the airport, because there was a shortage of US dollars, and buy US dollars at the black market rate from visitors coming into the island. Okay, persons were arrested because it was illegal. No question. Was it on the book? Was it part of the monetary regulation in the country? I don't know. But somebody came up and said, why don't we set up cambios so persons can come into the cambios and sell their US or their non-Jamaican denomination.
Currency.
So cambios of the entire country. What happened to all of those persons who were being arrested because they were traded in as they call it, illicit dollars? Is there a expungement of their record? No. The persons who were arrested years ago for gambling, which is, as they say, illicit, is their record being expunged? No. The new thing coming about now is that we know legalizing marijuana and all of that. All the farmers and persons who are arrested, is their record is going to be expunged? No. Who are now benefiting from this whole new wave of marijuana growth in this country? It's not the small man. No. Again, let's talk another case. The Broadcasting Commission was set up not for the regulatory of our music. It was set up because of the regulatory for the cable people. What used to happen over the years? One man have a satellite dish on him road, him share to the neighbor, and several people on the road. What ended up happening look at what happened recently. The visit of President Obama to Jamaica, one of the leading provider of cable network, found in breach. Right? What happened? Was it a slap on the wrist? It was, because it's a big man. Because that company created employment of hundreds of people working, making significant contributions in taxes to the country. But yet, you do it as a small man, you've been arrested and you've been given a record. So, the conflict theorists goes to show that there always will be inequality within our society. Those are realities.
Them things they're not gonna stop for
I'm not making it up. The Broadcast Commission did not set up for the music.
The what board? Right? What board you just mentioned a while ago, Teddy?
Broadcasting Commission.
Oh, the Broadcasting Commission. Okay.
Yeah, did not set up for the music. It was set up for the cable network.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like the OUR. The OUR is the Office of Utilities Regulation. Who funded the utilities regulation? So is the utilities regulation on my behalf when they are in
regulating?
Okay? Check that out. The OUR, the Office of Utilities Regulation, is set up to address the issues built up by consumers. The question is, the OUR have been funded by the Utilities Corporation. The question, is the OUR going to fight on the behalf of my interest as a consumer, or they're going to take side to the people who is paying them the check?
That is very simple. I have a personal experience where I went to the OER about JPS, and OER directed me back to JPS.
All right.
No joke. No joke.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So
totally
these
ridiculous.
are some of the things that I'm expressing myself and using this medium. You know, I don't have for all the listeners. I just want to. No. Before I just want to get this clear.
Hold on, Flavius. Hold on, Flavius. Hold on. Make Teddy finish.
Hold on.
Make him finish.
I just want for persons who have take time out on a Monday morning to listen to the program, no matter the numbers. I do not have a political agenda. I do not voice things because I'm frustrated. I just voice it just to say there's some things that I see, and I'm saying, where do we go wrong? That's all I'm just saying here. That's all.
Yeah, but
So I am not bashing the JLP. I'm not in support of the PNP. All I'm saying, we need to look at things differently. We cannot continue the same old, same old. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Go ahead, Phil.
but in the same vein as the Broadcasting Commission, the OUR Consumers Commission, who pays the NIA? Because I think that is the biggest question we need to find out.
Remember the situation. All right. This is my opinion.
NIA folks is the national integrity. The people who deal with the integrity of the country.
Okay. You remember what happened? What happened recently? Whereas, let's remember this. The present ambassador, right? Mr. Tapia, the U.S. ambassador, said that they will withdraw funding to the NIA because they are not getting value for money. And they will then turn over the money to a different organization. No, the question that bothers me, and I can tell you this, when that statement was made, I said to myself, the integrity, this is the National Integrity Agency, the NIA, that's supposed to be the vanguard and the watchdog for both government and private sector. No,
corruption.
If my funding agent come out with a statement like that, and I am the executive director, and I don't defend it, it means that whatever statement was said, it was true. No, it put into question for Mr. Trump, they're not going to give you funding because we're not getting value for money from the NIA.
But how can a foreign country be funding your corruption agency? How is that possible?
There we go again. Now we talk about certain things that will never change. No, just look at it from a common sense point of view. The National Integrity Agency, again, as you were saying, the NIA is domestic. So why does a foreign? No, my bone of contention, a single entity like a country like the US should not be funding. You should not be taking money from an entity. You're supposed to be taking from an international donor. So therefore, again, it goes to, again, I say is my opinion. If me give you money, then you have to do what I say. So therefore, there might be certain companies that can be scrutinized because they get funding. It's supposed they should be getting the funding from an international, non-partisan donor. So if you're going to say that's the way to go, that is the way to go. International, non-aligned donor, not an entity like the US that know the ambassador can come out and say, "Me not get value for my money." So when you pay you for, you not give me. Come on, that's what I mean in a layman term. Let's be practical.
You have to do their bidding. It's simple as that.
Yes, because I'm going to withdraw funds. I'm not getting value for money. It shouldn't be the case. The US should never say, "I am not getting value for money." You should give me the money and let me work independently of you. That's my opinion again. So therefore, I'm your puppet. You pull the string. And that's what happened.
I'm glad for all of this morning, Teddy. You lay it out plain and straight. You know, one of the things what I really love and I'd love to see it happen is the member of parliament issue. I'd love to see that. solved so that, MPs can work more diligently, see it for the community, for the constituency. Put the people them first so that things
No,
can
but
be done.
Franco, unless the political system change, that will never happen. Because MPs literally have to fight to get anything for their constituency. Because everything is bundled up in central government and under the guise of a few people.
Chronoism is
Of
not
course.
you giving you a contract. Chronoism is also meaning that you have to do what me I say because of a favor.
Of course.
You ask.
I hold the angle and you are the blade. And you have to
That
be nice to me. You have to do what I tell you. Yeah.
when
Simple.
the same thing happened with the NIA. The NIA was getting
Yeah.
funded from the US, and the ambassador can come out publicly and say, I'm not getting value for my money, so me not giving them more money. It should not ever been that way. It shouldn't be.
But the
Getting the
follow
money.
up, Teddy, the follow up, Teddy, is that after that statement, the NIA had become extremely quiet.
They must get quiet. Come on, favor. Come on,
Quiet.
say. No, but it make you money. I mean, say that means to say that means you as an integrity watchdog, right? That means that you also compromise.
Of course, you
Do you
compromise.
understand? Because it means that
Of
to
course.
you that I'm not getting value for money. It means that there is some question about your integrity of the organization.
Of course.
There you go.
All right.
And so therefore, my thing is, they should be able to get the money and do what they have to do, not being dictated by terms and conditions of how the money is spent. Mark, your accountability has to be in place. Because if you give me the funding, I must then give an account of how the money is spent. But when you
Of
come out
course.
public, because what should have happened is that should be a meeting between the NIA and the American body who give the money to say, here what happened. We have noticed your accountability and there are certain things in question. Please tidy it up before we disburse another funding. No.
Yeah.
The ambassador just come out and say, yo, me not like when you play with my money. Me not get value fee. I think that was a wrong move, ambassador.
And if you look at it on the other side, it is basically saying you are pressure, I don't want you to pressure. That's basically what it is saying, You're going down the wrong direction. You're pressuring people that we don't want your trouble. Leave them alone, and we're all right. So that agency becomes null and void. They have no use to us anymore. We can always get rid of them because they have no more use for us.
All right,
They can't
James.
help us.
The ambassador came out and made that statement that they are not getting value for money in terms of the money that they turn over to the Integrity Commission agency, the NIA. It goes in question that there got to be a breach of accountability or transparency why the ambassador would have made that statement. The only thing that I have wrong with that statement, I said that should have been done privately before it done publicly.
Okay, gents. So with that, we come to the end of another really current. Thank you, Teddy, for voicing your opinion very strongly this morning.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have an hidden agenda, and I don't need to come across that we are in support of one side and bashing the next side. My bone of contention is that we need to bring about a change for the betterment of the country. If we are to accomplish the dream, the vision 2030, that Jamaica become the place to live, work, and raise family. What it means that there's certain things need to change. Simple as that. For us to accomplish Vision 2030. And Vision 2030, just for the record, is from now. Not 30 years from now, not 40 years from now. Vision 2030 is going to take us in the next two general elections. If we go by the Constitution, 5 years, what we are saying, we have two elections for us to achieve this 2030 vision, a place to live, a place to work, and a place to raise family in harmony. That's what I am saying. Are we on path? Are we going to make that vision a reality? That is my contribution.
True. Flavius.
Well, based on our studies and all that, what we need to do, and if we're looking at the next 10 years, what we need to do, which we should have started long ago, we have to define a minimum standard of living. And we have to work towards getting every Jamaican family at that level. They are saying a great level, but it has to take us from where we are now. We are nowhere close to that. We have to have a minimum standard of living. And one of the ways that we can do that is to stop building houses. I hear in the debate, the government is saying how much house them build, and the opposition is saying, I know so much, and we the build so much. All I know, stop building houses. Houses cannot help us and have not helped us over the past 50 odd years of independence. We need to stop it. We need to start building communities. So we need to define a minimum standard of living, and we need to build communities. So when somebody get a new house and then push them key in it, them picnic nose so them can run, go over the park. The mother or whoever can walk down the street to a plaza, a shop, a supermarket. Sunday you can go to one of number of churches. Everything put together before the first person move in. We need to stop building houses and start building communities. That means that the communities can have sewage system, running water, internet and telephone cable in your house. You know, forget your external thing. This is where our head must be if we want to achieve anything in any time frame, any good time frame. Those are what we need to look at. All the things that the finance minister tell about, the macro this and the macro that, all that don't help us. We need to define a minimum standard of living for all Jamaicans. And we need to start building communities.
And I agree with your Flavors. I agree. It takes a village to raise a child. We need to move from the individual.
Every time. Yeah, man, every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
All right,
Teddy, once again, thank you. And so...
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. So to
all
our viewers, our listeners, we thank you too for participating. Those in the chat room, like Sadiki, Ansel, Courtney, thank you all for participating. And for those who didn't participate, we hope that you will be a part of the discussion next time. Until next time, take care of yourself, your loved ones, and always remember, prayer changes things.
Let me say a few things, Franco.
Go ahead, no?
Yeah. As you see, we start the week out very strong, and this is going to be a very strong week. Tomorrow, our guest tomorrow is from the Republic of Suriname, part of one of the Maroons peoples of Suriname. And then on Wednesday, we are having just as eminent lady from Belize, who is a leader of the Garifuna race, the Garifuna nation in Belize. So look out for those tomorrow and Wednesday. And then, of course, on Thursday, we have our cooking show.
Cook and curry.
Cook and curry on Thursday. And on Friday, Franco, we have
Glacier Robinson will be here. Gospel artist Glacier Robinson will be here with us.
So we have
what time is that? What time for Glacier? What time?
10:30.
Yes.
No, 9:30. 9:30.
9:30 Jamaica time, 10:30 Miami time.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking forward to listening and if I can participate because I met her years ago. Long before her illness and everything, and I said to her that she's standing on the shoulder of her ancestors, so she's to carry on what she's doing best.
Yeah.
So I look forward to.
You can join us on Friday. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I will.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
So with that, we ask Stefina to take us out.
Well,
all right. No problem.
Unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away myself. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Shorty I clean her eyes. I said, yeah. I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Get out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Shorty, I a clean pair of heels. I say, been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a master guess who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.